Hey everyone, I'm Ace of Clay and welcome to another sculpting video. If you're new here, I'm a sculptor and every week I make a new sculpture. Today we're back in the hidden world with another mutant. I'm kind of on a mutant kick right now. I was going to do a guide, but I'm still just so stuck in the mutant mindset right now, and I really wanted to get this one out. I actually collaborated with my brother Nick to come up with some of this one's backstory. Today you get to meet the author. This one is so different than my other mutant characters, and I absolutely love her story and the whole concept behind her, and I really like how she looks. I love the paint color scheme. I love her face. I love her hair. I love the other details that you're gonna see in a sec, and I really hope you love her too. So make sure you watch this entire video because I will be scattering her story throughout the whole thing. And before we start sculpting the author, the photographer is a plush, and he is available right now at aceofclay.com. In my opinion, this is my coolest plush yet because he's got this zipper mouth right here and it reveals his teeth and the camera lens at the back of his throat. He's got his briefcase, all of his details are embroidered. He's got his pinstriped high-waisted pants, real buttons. He's super soft plush microfiber, and he can be yours right now. Just head on over to aceofclay.com and grab him before he's gone. Winston is also up there if you haven't grabbed him already. And now without further ado, let's meet the author. Alright, we're ready to go. I've got my wooden plaque here with the holes drilled for my wire, and I'm just going to bend out the author's shoulders. And now I'm going to attach the arms with another piece of wire. And now I want to brush on some Bacon Bond to that wire because I'm going to be sticking on some Super Sculpey Ultralight to bulk her out. In the shadows of an otherwise unassuming city, from the hidden world, a legend emerged, whispered among those who dared to believe in the extraordinary. It began with the arrival of a mysterious figure, known only as the author. She defied all expectations, a short elderly woman with a demeanor that concealed depths of unfathomable power. After baking the ultralight, I'm going to start covering the entire thing in my final layer of clay. I'm using Super Sculpey for this part, and I just want to get that nice even sheet over everything. And then I'm going to bend her knees a little bit just to give her more of a dynamic pose. And then I'm going to start brushing on some more Bacon Bond so I can add the clay for her legs. And if you can't tell already, I wanted to give her a very awkward body shape, one that isn't necessarily anatomically correct, but I just think it adds so much character to this figure, just having that like big belly and the hunch and the skinny little legs. I love the contrast of everything. Now I'm just going to detail her chest, and then we're going to move on to some snakes of clay. Now these little snakes of clay that I'm applying here are going to make it look like she's wearing clothes. So I'm just going to blend the edges of those in with everything else, and then boom, you got folds and wrinkles and it looks like she's wearing a shirt. Now I'm just going to work my way down a little bit and pop on her boots before I make her dress. The author's appearance was as enigmatic as her abilities. A diminutive figure, she sported a short haircut with thick black bangs, her form obscured beneath layers of mystery. Everywhere she ventured, a peculiar phenomenon trailed in her wake, a pile of books, following faithfully on the floor beneath her. Each tome seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, as if beckoning to those who dared to glance upon their covers. Now I'm going to stick on her dress. I made this free hanging part of it out of cosclay because cosclay stays flexible after it's baked. and I just want to go ahead and add some more folds and wrinkles. And because the wrinkles are overlapping that free hanging cosplay, I want to make the wrinkles that are everywhere out of cosplay too. It was kind of hard to see how they were going to look just because of the two different colors, but it works out in the end. Now I'm just going to take the textured part of this sculpting tool and roll it on the surface to give it a nice fabric texture. Now this dress is going to have an opening in the front that is going to be together with a bunch of buttons, so I just want to add that seam in the front right now. Now let's stick on all of our little buttons. After detailing the buttons, I just want to touch up some of that fabric texture with some more fabric texture and then stick on a little patch for character. And for the last step on her dress, I want to tatter it a little bit. So I'm going to use my palette knife and cut some nicks and tears here and there. Now before I finish off her body with arms, I want to sculpt her head. I got this ball of aluminum foil that I'm covering in Super Sculpey Living Doll. Now after getting the nice layer of clay on there, I'm going to start punching out the eye sockets and trying to figure out where all of her features are going to go. Now I envision this character's face looking wise and stern and almost grandmotherly. I don't want her to be stereotypically scary. I want her to look hauntingly average. And of course we're going to go for a little bit of a gaunt look. I just want to bring out her cheekbones a little bit and really sink in the lower half of her face, and then we'll go ahead and add some jowls later. But it was not merely her appearance that set the author apart. It was the pens and pencils that protruded from her head, like macabre ornaments, a testament to the surreal nature of her existence. Her gaze, framed by big, round black glasses and accented by gold dangling earrings, held a knowingness that transcended mortal comprehension. Alright, now very early on we are hitting the ugly stage. And this is the point in the sculpture where I'm just unsure if I want to keep going or if I just want to throw this out and start over. But I'm glad I stuck with it. You know, everybody gets to this point. You just have to push through and believe in yourself and just see the light at the end of the tunnel. You got to see your vision and it'll eventually come to life. So you just got to work through some of these awkward kinks and stuff. Like this face right here, I have no idea where this is going. This looks nothing like a wise grandmother character, but you know, the more you work on it, the more it looks like how you want it to. So just be patient. Now I'm just working on her cute little nose and popping on her nostrils. Now I wanted her forehead wrinkles to be a little more vertical than horizontal just because it just makes her face look more scrunched up and more like ticked off. So that's what I'm kind of doing here. Just adding some little snakes of clay here and there, and then I'm going to indent some separately just with a tool, and we're gonna hopefully create the scrunchy face effect. And I'm just using this little super poker tool to create all the wrinkles in her forehead. This thing comes to a very sharp point, so it is perfect for skin texture and wrinkles. And a tool very similar to this, along with many others, will be included in my sculpting tool set that will hopefully be launching this spring. It's gonna be game changing. Now after detailing the upper half of her face, I want to start working on her mouth. I'm going to carve it out with my spoon tool and then add a pretty large lower lip. and she's not going to have a top lip. She's just going to be in this sort of angry pout. And then I'm going to bring out the nasolabial folds a little bit more with some tiny snakes of clay. And I'm just going to keep texturing her face all over the place with my super poker. And then I'm going to push in the cheeks a little bit more just to make her look even more gaunt. Those unfortunate enough to encounter the author soon discovered the true extent of her power. With a mere glance, she could ensnare one's consciousness, weaving a web of enchantment that defied resistance. Her method was simple, yet terrifyingly effective. She would compel her victims to utter their names in a daze, a prelude to the horrors that awaited them. Now I'm going to add some loose skin to the bottom half of her face, kind of frame her jawline and create some jowls. These are, again, some more snakes of clay that I'm blending in with my spoon tool. I'm going to do it on this side and then repeat it on the other side and then refine things, add some pores, and keep going. Now we're going to take a quick break to talk about our sponsor, BetterHelp. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's video. I have so many things planned for my channel this year and my business in general, but while I'm working on all of that, I don't want to forget about my mental health. Wearing so many hats and having to work on so many different things can really take a toll, and that's where BetterHelp can help. BetterHelp makes starting therapy so much easier and less intimidating for a lot of people. BetterHelp lets you have therapy sessions as a phone call, as a video chat, or even messaging, whatever is the most comfortable version of therapy for you. BetterHelp can match you with one of over 30,000 therapists in their network based on your needs, preferences, and location, which gives you access to a wider range of expertise than may be available in your city. To get started, you fill out a questionnaire that will ask you questions about what you're going through. And then BetterHelp can match you with a therapist to help you. You'll be matched with a therapist in most cases within 48 hours. From there, you can schedule therapy sessions at a time that's convenient for you. If you feel your therapist isn't a great fit, you can always switch therapists with the click of a button in your settings for no additional cost. This is a favorite feature for many people because you don't have to break up with your therapist and start the whole process over again. So if you're like me and you want to start 2024 taking care of your mental health, head on over to betterhelp.com/aceofclay, that's better, H-E-L-P, and join over 4 million people that have used BetterHelp to start living a happier, healthier life. Just click the link in the description box below or visit betterhelp.com/aceofclay. Clicking that link helps support this channel and gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps. Thanks again, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's video. Now back to our sculpture. Swift as lightning, the author would seize a book from the ever-present pile at her feet, drawing forth a pencil from her own skull with a grisly nonchalance. With a deft hand, she would inscribe the victim's name upon the pages, sealing their fate with a resounding slam that echoed through the very fabric of reality. And we're just going to keep going with that skin detail. Alright, her head's looking pretty good. Let's pop it on with a little bit of Bacon Bond, get that little piece of Cons clay out of the way, and then we're going to brush the surface with some Bacon Bond and clay softener to make it nice and smooth, and then we're going to dab the brush on to texture it a little bit and then get her ready to bake. And just like that, she's ready for the oven. And once she's baked and cooled down, I'm just going to start shaping out the wire for her arms, and she will eventually be holding these two books. I'm going to brush on some Bacon Bond and stick on the clay for her arms. Now I'm going to attach her hand. I made this out of Cos clay because it stays flexible and I don't have to worry about breaking off any of her fingers when I'm sticking those books in there. Now it's time to work on her hair. I just want to stick this piece of clay on there just to bring her hair out just a little bit, and then I'm going to start filing down these toothpicks to make them look like pencils and pens that I'm going to stick all over her head. They're going to be jabbed into her head. No joke. And then I forgot to add some to her face and like the exposed skin area, so I'm just going to carve out some clay, just enough to stick a couple toothpicks in. And if you're going to do this, you do have to be kind of gentle if you're going to try to cut baked clay, because it can crack more and it can cause cracks in the oven if you are planning to bake again like I am. So just be gentle and use a really sharp blade. Now I'm going to start attaching her hair. The hairstyle that I decided on is a black bob. We're just going to give her a black bob with a really thick, blunt bang. And we're going to stick those on right there and then start texturing it. And thus the transformation would begin. As the pages turned, the victim's soul would be drawn inexorably into the abyss of the narrative, condemned to live out its cruel twists and turns for all eternity. Some books were long, sprawling epics that spanned lifetimes, while others were brief, yet no less harrowing in their intensity. Wow, that looks weird. All the toothpicks, the pencils and pens stuck in her head. Wow. Now I'm just sticking on a nice cosplay shawl, and I'm going to just mess with it until it looks legit. You don't just want to slap it on. You want to, poke it here and there, make it look as natural as possible. And of course, I'm tattering it a little bit, cutting out some holes. She got this thing out of a dumpster, or she's been wearing it for hundreds of years. I just want to stick on some sleeves, blend those in, and then we're going to give her some nice fancy earrings. And I'm going to give her ears because I think it would be better than just than covering this area with more hair. I think the ears add a nice little detail. Just going to stick those on, and then we'll poke in her earrings. And of course I got to add a skull motif somewhere, so I'm just giving her a skull ring. Now I'm bending out her glasses from some floral wire, using this tool as a guide to make them nice and neatly round, and I join them in the middle with some more clay. And there we go. You'll see them better when they're black and she's painted. Now I just want to brush her hair with a good amount of clay softener to remove fingerprints and make everything nice and smooth. And she's ready for her final bake. And once she's baked and cooled down, it's time for paint. All the paints that I'm using are Americana, Deco Art, and Folk Art matte acrylics, and a couple Army Painter paints. So we're going to start with her skin, going over everything with this nice beige tone, and then darkening the eye sockets, and then we're going to go over the whole thing with a nice dead brown wash, really bring out those wrinkles and make her look her age. And a wash is just thinned out paint. This is just water and acrylic paint that I mix to get the transparency that I want, and then I just dab off the excess with my fingertips. Now once that face is completely dry, I'm going to dry brush a lighter brown over the whole thing to bring out even more detail. Now after the dry brushing is done, I'm just going to go back in and really go and shadow some of those deep crevices in her face and add some age spots with another brown wash. And it's time to paint her eyes white. And now it's time to paint her jet black hair. For those ensnared within the author's grasp, there was no escape, no reprieve from the endless cycle of torment. Their existence became intertwined with the very essence of storytelling itself, condemned to live and die within the confines of ink and parchment, Once the tale that she ensnared the soul within concludes, it either resets, perpetuating the cycle indefinitely, or the soul's very existence fades into oblivion. Now for her dress, I chose this nice dark brown, dead greenish brown-ish color, and we're just gonna go over the whole thing with this. I'm gonna mix in some yellow here and there just to give it some variation and make it look really ugly. Now I'm just try brushing a lighter tone of green on the surface to bring out that fabric texture that I created and all those folds and wrinkles. And for her shawl, we're going with this beautiful shade of brown. Gonna give her a nice, bright and happy spring color palette. And I'm just going in and adding some shadows with some more dark brown, almost black wash here and there, just kind of dirtying her up a little bit. Gonna paint her buttons black, get that patch colored in. And for her pants, we're just gonna keep it simple and make them black, and I'll give her some dark brown boots. Her earrings are going to be metallic gold, and we all know that metallic paints look best over black. So I just want to put a black base coat on them first, and then while I'm at it, I'm going to paint her glasses and then her boots, and then we'll go back and paint the gold on her earrings right here. And now for the part that I've personally been waiting for the whole time. It's time to paint those pencils and pens in her head. And it's amazing what 3 colors can do to a stick. Like, these legit look like pencils when I'm done with them, or at least you know they're pencils. Just want to get the base color of each one on first, and then we're going to paint the little erasers like that, and then we're going to add the little metal ferrule thing, I think it's called, that connects the eraser to the pencil, and that's what really makes them look like pencils. Just wait, hold on, where is it? Right here. Look at that. Once that's on, it's a pencil now. Crazy. And so the legend of the author grew, a dark specter haunting the fringes of reality, her presence a grim reminder of the perils that lurked within the pages of the unknown. For in a world where words held the power to shape destinies, none were safe from the clutches of the ultimate storyteller. And that is the author. Now I'm just gluing on her glasses with some super glue, and I want to dab on some red to the base to make it look like she's standing in a puddle of blood. And then I'm going to make her glasses glossy with some Americana triple thick glossy varnish. And then I overnighted myself all of these little tiny books from Amazon, and I think they're going to look great all over her base and in her hands. So I'm just going to take those. I got my gloves on so my hands and nails don't get paint underneath them. And I'm just going to add a brown wash to all of them to make them look nice and dirty and old, like they've been sitting on the Titanic underwater for years. And let's do one more book right there. And just like that, the last book is on. Say it with me. And she's done! The author is complete. Let me know how you think I did in the comments. Like I said in the intro, I love how this mutant turned out. I love that she is so different than the other ones, and she's just this short little seemingly innocent creature besides maybe all the pens jabbed into her back and head, but that's okay, I digress. I think she's really cool. I love how she turned out, and I really hope you're enjoying the hidden world so far in 2024. I am really enjoying it. I feel like I've completely got my mojo back, and my inspiration and excitement are at the forefront of my videos again, and I am so excited to be sharing this with all of you. So as always, thank you so much for watching and being here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok at Ace of Clay, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.